Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Tom.
Hey, it's day 2 of our literature unit. We've been talking about a short story called The Gift of the Magi. Again, the Magi refers to the wise men in the Bible who came the night the Savior was born, baby Jesus, and presented him with some very, very expensive gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. A couple of those words are weird, we know. We didn't know what they meant either the first time we heard them, but they were kind of like expensive oils they were giving to baby Jesus. And of course, gold. Everyone knows that that's expensive. So that's where our author got the idea from to write this short story, The Gift of the Magi. And today, we're going to be talking about the story itself, how it's a classic. Who wrote it? O. Henry. There's actually, I think there still is a candy bar named O. Henry in America.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, too. I like it better than Snickers, but that's another topic. Anyway, we're going to get started by reading through day 2, and then we'll be back to talk about some of the themes of this short story. Though The Gift of the Magi is only a short story, it has become a classic among Christmas tales. The story was written in 1905 by author William Sidney Porter, best known by his pen name, O. Henry. An American short story master, O. Henry wrote witty stories with playful twist endings, often making use of comic irony. Other such examples can be found in his stories The Ransom of Red Chief, The Cop and the Anthem, and A Retrieved Reformation. While The Gift of the Magi does have what could be considered a comic ending, it nevertheless communicates an important message about love and self-sacrifice. Despite their financially strained circumstances, Della doesn't resent or blame her husband for their poverty. Instead, she thinks highly of Jim, who she believes deserves a very fine gift, and also resolves to save money on her own. Jim also genuinely loves Della, which shows in his reaction to her cutting off her hair. Though she worries he won't think she's pretty anymore, he tells her that no haircut could lessen his love for her. Another idea running through the story is the value of wealth versus happiness. While Della and Jim don't have much, they're willing to give up what they do have in order to honor each other. After discovering that their gifts cancel each other out, they recognize that their relationship is worth more to them than the things they own. The comparison of the couple to the Magi in the end refers not to the physical gifts they've bought, but to the way they give of themselves and affirm what they mean to each other.
Okay, let's get going and discuss the second day of our lesson. It's Unit 12 again, The Gift of the Magi. It's a Christmas story with a twist at the end. It kind of has an ending that you did not expect. But today, of course, we're talking about the background of this particular story. And here in the first paragraph it says, though The Gift of the Magi is only a short story, it has become a classic among Christmas tales. This particular story, The Gift of the Magi, is kind of new to me. When I was growing up, I never heard this story. It was always A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens and other various stories, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this is a Christmas story that a lot of people know about, and it's only a short story. You can probably read it in less than an hour or so, but still, it is a classic Christmas story that a lot of people know about.
The story was written in 1905, such a long time ago. That period of time in history is one of my favorites. The author's real name, his full name is William Sidney Porter, but like a lot of authors, he uses a pen name or a different name to write his stories under. So, yeah, I always thought his real name was O. Henry. This is the first time I've really, maybe not, I just don't remember, but his real name is William Sidney Porter. O. Henry. So he's an American short story master. This is something he does very well. So we're calling him a master. You could also say he's a master of short stories. And the reason why people love him so much is that he wrote witty stories. If you write things that are witty, you write things that are really clever. Smart and funny together is witty. To be around witty people is kind of entertaining too. They always keep you laughing. Plus, it's smart humor. Some of our American movies I refer to as toilet humor or bathroom humor. It's not very high class or high level. You don't have to be very smart to find that funny or to write those jokes. But if someone's witty, it takes a clever brain, a clever mind to come up with what they say or write.
Yeah, if someone's witty, of course, they're very good with language, and they can, have double meanings in jokes and things like that that are quite clever. So here, O. Henry supposedly wrote such stories that had playful twist endings, endings that you did not really expect, and they were kind of surprising. And he often made use of comic irony. Okay, here we've got the word irony, which is basically when you mean one thing but you say the other. That's similar to sarcasm, but sarcasm tends to be kind of mean. Oh, that's really a wonderful shirt you're wearing today. That's being sarcastic. You don't mean to be nice when you say something like that. But irony just means like basically things that you did not expect, okay? And again, you're trying to say something by saying the opposite in order to get your point across.
Okay, so other such examples of stories that O. Henry wrote with these characteristics of being witty and ironic. Irony, of course, is a noun. The adjective form is ironic. So he's got things that people really enjoy reading. Here's just a group of them, 3 of them. The Ransom of Red Chief, The Cop in the Anthem, and A Retrieved Reformation. So, have you read any of these, Tom? I haven't read these 3.
I've read some. I think there was one story of his about a boy that got kidnapped, but the boy was so obnoxious that the kidnappers actually offered to pay the parents to take the boy off their hands. That could happen sometimes in real life, of course. But
he was a brat, huh?
He was a real brat, and the kidnappers regretted what they had done. But, yeah, his stories are kind of like that. They're kind of fun. And the nice thing about his stories is that because they are so old, they're in the public domain, so you can find them on the internet for free.
Yay!
And you can read them on your device whenever you have the time. And you might actually even find an audiobook of these stories that you can actually listen to.
Let's move on to the second paragraph here. It says, while the gift of the Magi does have what could be considered a comic ending or a funny ending. It is kind of funny. You just kind of chuckle and shake your head. But you also really admire these 2 people at the same time for being willing to sacrifice their greatest possessions because they want to give or show the person they love that they really do love them. Even though it has what could be considered a funny ending, it nevertheless communicates an important message about love and self-sacrifice. So sacrificing something you love for someone you love even more is really a wonderful tribute to both of these people. I think Jim and Della are a pretty cool couple.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, and I like the fact that they both made these sacrifices. I can't imagine any woman nowadays willing to sell her hair to buy a gift for her boyfriend or her husband. I think most of them think, hey, I'm the girl. He's supposed to buy stuff for me, and I'm not supposed to buy stuff for him. So, yeah, I like this kind of mutual love that they have for each other, that they both are willing to sacrifice. And despite their financially strained circumstances, Della doesn't resent or blame her husband for their poverty. which, might not happen nowadays. I think lots of women would probably get really mad at their husbands if he didn't bring in enough money. Hey, why are we so poor when the Wongs over there are driving 3 BMWs or something like that? So in this particular case, hey, she's a nice woman. She doesn't blame him for being poor. She loves him anyway. And yes, they have these financially strained circumstances. So here we've got the word strain as an adjective, or excuse me, strained as an adjective. It just means things are tense, they're uneasy, they're not relaxing. You might have a strained relationship with your parents, for example. Maybe they put too much pressure on you when you were a kid, and now you don't really want to talk to them anymore. Yeah, your relationship with your mother is strained. Like a friend of mine says he hasn't spoken to his mother in like 25 years.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah, I think we all know people who have strained relationships with family members. What they need to do is both sides need to just apologize and move on. So yeah, their money situation is quite tight. They don't have a lot of extra money. And Della, of course, back then didn't have a job. Women stayed home and raised their families, took care of the kids and their husbands. So it was the man who had to go out there and, as my dad would say, beat the wolf from the door. So keep the wolf from coming in. So yeah, she's sweet. She doesn't blame him. You know, back in those days, a lot of people were suffering through poverty. And it wasn't because they didn't work hard or they wanted to be poor. It just was life back then. So we're going to talk more about this couple, guys. But first, we're going to take a quick break and listen to our Chinese teacher.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜。我们昨天谈了这个最珍贵的礼物这个经典，今天我们要来深入讨论一下。当然我们了解一个很有名的文学作品，大概就要先看一下它的作者是谁咯。它的作者叫做 William Sidney Porter。那么这个名字我们大家不熟，可是如果我们说 O. Henry，你大概就知道这个有名的作者，因为他的笔名是用 O. Henry， 而这个故事呢，则是在1905年所写的，所以距离现在已经超过100年的历史了耶。可是他真的很经典，因为O. Henry 他的作品常常在结尾都会有一个 twist， 他的结局呢，跟我们预期的好像都不太一样。我们来看一下，在第一段第3句的地方，从这边开始前面的 An American Short Story Master 逗点 O. Henry 出现了同位语主词。那么这样的一个短篇小说的大师 O. Henry， 他写的 witty story，He wrote witty stories， 很机智的短篇的小说 with 附带的状况是 playful twist endings， 是充满曲折的而且很有趣的一些极致的结尾的故事。那么这句话还没有结束哦，逗点之后其实是一个分词构句and 连接词省略的分词构句，因为其实这句话的第一个动词是 wrote， 写故事的写，那么第二个动词呢，则是利用 make use of， 利用喜剧讽刺这种手法的方式，所以主词都是 O. Henry， 那么第一个动作 wrote， 第二个动作 made use of， 所以 and 的 and 或者是主词干脆就省略掉了，剩下的就是 making 这个动词 ing。 那么接下来呢，我们就来看看他在第一段呢有提到一些比较著名的故事，像是红毛酋长的赎金警察与赞美诗，还有歧路重生，这些故事都非常的经典。不过回过头来我们看一下昨天这个最珍贵的礼物，虽然最珍贵的礼物似乎看起来是喜剧结尾，但是它还传达了很重要的讯息。那么这些讯息呢，到今天来说都还是很重要，所以才会被视为经典。不过第二段的第一句当中，第一个字 while 你不要看到它就一直以为是 when 的意思哦，其实 while 很常情况都会用来取代 although，虽然如何如何，所以我们可以预见的是，在句子当中文意会有一些转折。果然在逗点之后看到了一个副词叫做 nevertheless， 然而，所以虽然它基本上算是喜剧结尾，但是 nevertheless 却传达了一些有关于 love self-sacrifice 自我牺牲的这些重要讯息。因为我们知道他们的经济状况很拮据，但是 Della 并没有因为贫穷而去怨恨 resent 或者是责怪 blame 她的丈夫。好，那么句子到这边呢，我们可以看到 Della 已经有描述了没有因为贫穷去责怪丈夫。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about the story, The Gift of the Magi, and we're talking about the background of this story. It was written by William Sidney Porter, also known as O. Henry, way back in 1905, and he wrote lots of witty stories that you can read online nowadays. And this is a kind of a fun story here because we've got a poor couple here, Della and Jim. They don't really resent each other at all because they're poor. They actually love each other very much, and they're willing to make sacrifices to get each other nice Christmas gifts. And yes, she doesn't resent or blame him for their poverty. Instead, she thinks highly of Jim, who she still believes deserves a very fine gift. Even though he doesn't bring a lot of money back home, still she loves him and she thinks he works hard, so he deserves to get a nice Christmas gift. Here we've got the verb to deserve, and that just means you are worthy of receiving something, okay? Sometimes your parents might say that to you. You don't deserve to get a new smartphone. Your grades are so low. Get your grades higher, and then you might deserve a new smartphone.
Wow. Okay, so she really does think that Jim deserves or has earned a very fine gift. Sometimes you deserve something because you're just, obedient and you're doing what you're supposed to. But you don't always get what you deserve. Sometimes people who aren't doing the right thing don't get what they deserve, and that would be punishment. So it works both ways. What she does is she resolves she decides very firmly. That's what resolve means. To resolve just means you make a decision that you're not going to change. So she resolves or decides to save money on her own without saying anything to Jim. Jim also genuinely loves Della. To genuinely think or feel something means it's a real emotion. It's not fake. He's not pretending. He really does love Della. If something's genuine, and that's the adjective form, just means it's real. Again, it's not fake. It's genuine gold. Oh, is that a genuine LV purse? Wow, those are expensive. So he genuinely loves Della, which shows in his reaction to her cutting off her hair. Yes, some husbands would go, "What did you do? Oh man, you look ugly now. I can't believe you cut off your hair." But no, he just gives her a hug and says, "Oh, you're beautiful either way." So he's a pretty good guy. Though she worries he won't think she's pretty anymore, he tells her just the opposite, that no haircut could lessen his love for her. To lessen just means to reduce, to make something so it's not as much. So to lessen his love. No, nothing could lessen Jim's love for Della.
Yeah, nothing's gonna change my love for you, which is some song I think I've heard many years ago.
Nothing's gonna change my love for you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. You
I
got
love that song.
That's right. That was an old song there. But
Yeah.
This is quite nice because, of course, lots of men love their wives just because they're pretty. And yes, she cuts off her hair, but he still loves her nonetheless. And nothing could lessen his love for her. He loves her for the person she is and not what she looks like. Now, here in the next paragraph, it says, another idea running through the story is the value of wealth versus happiness. Okay, yes, indeed, we do have a phrase in English, money can't buy happiness. They always tell you that all the time. Although I always think that, well, it makes it a lot easier to be happy if you have that money. But in this particular case, yeah, sometimes people think having money makes you happy.
No.
But in this story here, it kind of like separates these two values. Being rich is one thing, being happy is another.
Yeah, you don't have to have money to be happy. And some people who have a lot of money are miserable. So money helps if you have a tragedy, I must say. It does help a little bit. But, wow, it sure doesn't bring happiness automatically. With Della and Jim, they don't have much, but they're willing to give up what they do have in order to honor or love each other. Now, after discovering that their gifts cancel each other out, they recognize that their relationship is worth more to them than the things they own. My brother and I always joke that when we vote, we cancel each other out because we vote for opposite sides. So cancel each other out, that's what that means. To cancel something just means you no longer want to do something. Maybe you're canceling an appointment. Or you have a doctor's appointment that you can't make. Instead of canceling, you could go and reschedule or postpone. But to cancel each other out, yeah, it's kind of funny. Somebody does the exact opposite of what you're doing. So the first person doesn't profit or succeed from it. Or maybe you're on a diet and you're good for the whole day. And then at the end of the evening, you decide to eat a lot of ice cream and cake. That ice cream and cake cancels out all of the good actions and the good discipline you had earlier that day.
Yeah, that happens, of course, at holidays. Of course, I've been dieting for many months, and now it's Christmas, or now it's Chinese New Year, so those big meals are going to cancel out all my dieting.
Darn.
But in this particular case, though, the gifts kind of cancel each other out. She doesn't have any hair for his combs, and he doesn't have a watch for her platinum watch chain. But again, they said just set those things aside, and we'll realize we still love each other very much. And yes, they're willing to give up and sacrifice for each other for their love. And again, the gifts cancel each other out. So the comparison of the couple to the Magi in the end refers not to the physical gifts they've bought, but to the way they give of themselves and affirm what they mean to each other. So again, it's all about giving. It's the thought that counts, and you don't really need to look at how much you're getting. You just need to realize, or you just need to remember that, hey, what I'm giving to the other person is what counts, not the other way around.
Yeah, and our author here talks about the difference between the physical gifts that they've bought and kind of the spiritual gifts that they actually give to each other, and that would be love and honor and respect. The physical gifts are things you can actually touch. They're tangible, that's another word. They're tangible things. But a lot of times, the gifts that you can give to someone you love aren't physical. Maybe it's service and something you do to help them feel better in whatever way you can show them. You don't have to spend money and buy things. So physical just refers to things that you can touch that are actually here. And again, a close word to that is tangible. So it's right there. You can touch it, or it moves or something like that. Now, this word affirm is a special word. It just means it reinforces or it restates something so that people know something's right there. Affirm can also mean that you're accepting something. So affirm, yeah, it just reinforces or I think demonstrates something is true. And those gifts just affirm what they mean to each other. The fact that they tried, at least, right?
Yeah, kind of emphasizes and confirms again what they mean to each other. So that's what love is all about. And yeah, check out this story. It might make your Christmas more meaningful. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Here comes our Chinese teacher.
事实上，他根本就是非常尊敬，觉得 Jim 是非常了不起的。Think highly of someone， 觉得某人非常了不起。而且他还下定决心要自己存钱 ，resolve to do something， 下定决心做某事。可是其实在这一段的第3句啊，还有一个关系子句，从 who、Jim 之后的 who 到逗点 gift 这个地方。它是一个补充说明的关系子句，补充说明 Jim 的一个状况。好，接下来后面的这一句话呢，第4句话也有一个关系子句，它很重要，也要稍微提一下。因为前面的句子是 Jim 也真的很爱 Della 他的老婆，可是你会觉得怪怪的，逗点之后的 which 怎么会用 which 嘞？明明先行词是 Della。要注意哦 which 这个关代它还有另外一个功能，是可以取代逗点之前整句话这一件事情。所以这里的 which 指的是 Jim 真心爱着 Della 这件事情，同样也表现在他看到 Della 剪掉头发之后的一个反应。所以这2个关系子句要特别小心哦。那么接下来我们提到了文章当中啊，就是故事当中，在这个 Jim 跟 Della 之间的这些真诚的爱。除此之外呢，另外一个贯穿整个故事的一个观点啊，其实是财富还有幸福相比的一个价值。在最后一段的第1句当中 ，another idea 后面带了一个简化的关系子句。从 running 一直到 story 这个地方 ，running 原本是That runs. 好，第2句呢又看到 while， 我们根据文意来推测，果然它还是 although 的意思。虽然呢 Della 跟 Jim 拥有的不多，但是他们很愿意放弃自己所拥有的东西来荣耀彼此。所以当他们发现礼物互相的抵消 cancel out 之后，他们其实有意识到关系比原本拥有的东西是还更有价值的。不过最后一句话我们要稍微看一下，故事最后呢，这对夫妻还有3贤者，他的比较指的不是买的东西，而是奉献自我的方式，还有肯定对彼此的意义。不过句子要剖析一下哦，这个句子啊，原本的动词是 refer to mean 指的意思是什么什么，而受词后面有一个片语叫做 not A but B， 不是 A 而是 B。 那么在句子当中的 A 是 to the physical gifts they've bought， 他们买的具体的东西。那么后面的受词 B 呢，则是 to the way， the way 后面的 they 一直到句尾才是修饰这个 the way方法。所以如果你不知道这个故事，或者是你的朋友不知道这个故事，今年可以说给他听哦。我是安娜，我们下次见。
That's it for today, everybody. Merry Christmas to all of you. And yeah, this story is very inspiring to us all, and hopefully we'll have a great Christmas as a result. And hey, we can look forward to Chinese New Year not so long after that. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.